Welcome to a Boxing Day Hellraiser blog special. Mickey Elliott, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You have a good day?
Very good, thank you.
And we're here to give some awards out. The annual awards for there's how many categories have we got?
The Hellraiser awards. The categories gets bigger every year.
I think there's 10 categories this year, and we're going to go through them, and we're going to have a little synopsis on each. So first up is Fight of the Year.
Right, so
who's won Fight of the Year?
Fight of the Year was actually I think it was unanimous. I think everyone
voted, yeah.
For Ben Jones versus Martin Parlagi, which took place on our show at the Troxy, which was broadcast on London Live. Ben Jones got dropped in the first round, got badly cut and badly wobbled, and being the true warrior that he is, he pulled it together. He really boxed his way very intelligently to get back into the fight, because I think a human reaction when you get knocked down, instinct is get up and land and shot. But I think Ben realised this guy's he's quite tricky for one. Parlagi isn't. I mean, he had a good record, like 16 wins and 1 loss or something. And actually, also the way that he scored the knockdown in the first place, it was quite clever. The way that he sort of suckered and drew Ben in. So I think Ben probably realised, right, this isn't going to be an easy fight. But he boxed very well, and a lot of blood. I mean, I was sat in the front row, and because of the cut, it was just flying everywhere. And look, he went in, he done the business, and he come out with a win, and he's now rated number 7 in the WBO. So it was a risk worth taking, but it was a big risk. And anyway, fortunately, he managed to get it right on the night. And
so he picks up Fight of the Year. Most Improved Boxer of the Year.
Most Improved Boxer of the Year went to Tony Milch. Now, I actually remember Tony Milch when I first stopped boxing. I decided I'd be a trainer, an amateur trainer, and I started off at St Albans and I went to Finchley, and Tony Milch was one of the kids that we had. And I've actually said this to Tony himself, so I've got no problem saying it on him. But look, he looked, as a kid, you just look at him and just think that this guy, some of them you think, like, we could develop him, we can do this. But Tony Milch, he didn't look like a boxer at all. He looked like quite frail, little skinny kid. Very nice nature to him all the time, ever since I know him. But you just thought he's going to be too soft to be a boxer. That's what I thought. And I saw him, because he wasn't one of the ones I spent the most time with. I remember I saw him one day. It was probably after he'd been in there about a year or something. And I thought, you know what, this guy's actually caught up with a lot of the other ones that seem more naturally boisterous sort of thing. Then he overtook a lot of them. Now he's turned professional. He's 9-0 as a pro. In his last fight, he boxed Kevin McCauley, who anyone will tell him, look at Kevin McCauley's recent form. He's got wins, he's got draws against undefeated boxers. It's not an easy fight for anyone. And Tony beat him by 2 points. It was a good fight. I actually had Tony winning by a little bit more than that. I thought he won it clearer, but it doesn't matter. He won the fight, and he got our Most Improved Boxer of the Year award. Well done, Tony. Great start to his career. He's now 9-0.
Moving on to Prospect of the Year.
So, Prospect of the Year, actually the votes, we have like as you know because you were there,
yeah.
We have like a Hellraiser Christmas dinner every year where all the people that like work in the office or are part of Hellraiser team, they're all invited, and they eat curry and drink beer and discuss reasons why they think that who should have which prize. And this was actually a tie. It was a draw where exactly the same amount of votes for Aaron Morgan. I'll be open. I voted for Aaron Morgan. For me, he was the prospect of the year. But okay, Aaron Morgan and Asinia Byfield.
Yeah.
Asinia Byfield's a good prospect as well. We just stopped Ali Wyatt. Not many people do that. He's come on well. It's actually a pleasure to work with. Nice, really good guy. As is Aaron. But anyway, right. So they got the same amount of votes each. So it was a tie. We didn't go into a tie break. We just said, okay, they both deserve it.
They'll have to share the trophy.
Yeah.
Moving on, Fighter of the Year.
Fighter of the Year, we gave to Larry Ekandayo. Larry's like a new addition to Hellraiser. Just had 2 fights since he's been with us. Obviously he's won them both, he's unbeaten. He broke into the WBC top 40. He became mandatory for the Commonwealth title. He's an exciting guy. He's improving still. He's actually not a young fighter for the amount of fights he's had. He's old because he's sort of stalled a lot in the early parts of his career, but he's a prize fighter champion, and you know, really exciting now because finally he's got a deal where we can sort of get him a bit busier and move him up through the ratings, and he's just got into the WBC rating, so we're going to see some big fights with Larry at last. He's going to get the credit that he's worked so hard. Good, now he gets the recognition for that.
Moving on, next category is Journeyman / Road Warrior
of the year. So it was quite close, but Ali Wyatt won it. So Ali Wyatt is the Road Warrior of the year. Goes out on the road week in, week out, put out some great performances. Very, very, very tough guy, and actually far cleverer than people give him credit for. You know, he knows how. He knows a lot of little tricks. That when you're out, see if you're a prospect or you're a champion or a contender, you box like every 3 months or whatever, or every 2 months, and you have your date given to you 2 months. So your fitness goes up and goes down, and you prepare yourself accordingly. When you're a journeyman, it's every week, so your fitness can't peak and come down. It just got to go like that. So because of that, they can't compete with guys that are given, like, 2 months' notice for that date. Meaning that they have to use their brain and learn the tactics and learn how to get through it. And Ali Wyatt actually has done that very well, because when I first got him, he was a prime example of a guy that just goes and has a fight, gets stuck in, tries to win at all costs and has a tear up, but then they come out with cuts and bruises all over them. And it's not that we don't want them to try, we do, and if they can get an occasional win, take it, get it, but at the same time we don't want them taking massive risks, because also from a management point of view, I need this guy out every week like that. That brings money into the business, and obviously the fight makes more money that way as well.
Well deserved, Ali Wyatt.
And Michael Stupart was the running up. I think it's worth mentioning him, because Stupart actually has put up some probably too ambitious. Like I say again, if the guys go in overly ambitious, they can get stopped, and Michael Stupart has been stopped a few times, but he's pulled off some really good performances on the road as well, where he's actually won fights or come very close to winning in some fights as well.
Next up we have Knockout Punch of the Year.
Okay, very easy, I think, the decision on this one. So Darryl Williams actually won it, and he also got runners up as well. He won it with the knockout of Louis Van Pooch, hit with a body shot, but the performance was good. When I first got Darryl, it was very raw. I could see really good strength, and we went out to Las Vegas last year. We took Darryl there sparring, and I got to know him a lot better, and we worked on a lot of things, with his tactics in the ring, cutting off the ring, and how to pace himself through rounds and stuff like that. And I realised quite quickly with Darryl, we've got this guy who's got actually huge potential. He really got good potential. He's not using it. So he's got very good training with Eddie Lan in the iBox gym, and with can't remember the other trainer. Gary was British champion, good boxer. Gary Walcombe.
You put me on the spot as well there.
Sorry, Gary Walcombe. Okay, so they're training. They're doing a good job with him. He's really come on massively, and it's led to opportunities for him. I mean, we got offered a really good deal from a big American promoter. I mean, for me, the money was very good, but the timing wasn't, because I can see Darryl's improving really fast, and I think it's worth taking our time with him, not just rushing in. And we've stepped him up in terms of the standard of opponent, and he's actually been knocking more people out now. So that's proof he is improving tremendously. He actually starred in a video game this year, which was a Mike Tyson video game, and he played the part of Mike Tyson in it, because they noticed his movement, his sort of the way he stands, the way he moves his head, the flurries of punches, and he's actually studied Tyson. So anyway, right, he was the runner-up. His knockout of Richard Horton was the second, punch of the year, stoppage of the year. He got it. So well done, Daryl.
First and second place.
Yeah, and do you know the fact that the Horton fight was on TV on one of our London live shows. The response was just massive because people recorded it, they put it on Twitter, they put it on Facebook, and suddenly he went from being like a virtual unknown to like, every other email was some question about Daryl Williams. So I think he's really one to watch next year. We're going to move him up. He's going to have some big fights, and if he keeps improving at the rate that he is, I don't know how far he can go, but he's certainly British title level.
Let's move on then to upset of the year.
Upset of the year, right. Upset of the year was unanimous. That means every single voter voted for this one. Now, Mark McRae, who actually, in my voting for Road Warrior of the Year, was my second choice, but he didn't get enough votes to get into the winner or runner-up. But he got upset of the year unanimously. Every single person. Now, he boxed Ryan Crashbang Taylor, who's a nice guy. I like Ryan. I've known him for a while, and Ryan was actually lined up for the English title. He got a call. We're looking for an opponent. Said only one I had at the weight, Mark McRae, that was available, and they took it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, and I like Ryan, so it's not nice to be given. But I said to Mark, if we had our tactics lined up. I know Ryan well, his style, his way of boxing. Also, I know Mark very well, because I managed him from the start of his career. It's been probably about sort of 6-7 years now. I'm like, okay, Mark, got this fight. Felt very strongly. He gets his feet into range early and brings Ryan's hands down. This is a win for you. And Ryan Taylor was booked for an English title fight. Why they chose Mark McRae, no idea. But they did it, and Mark went and stopped him. Ryan said to me after he thought the stoppage was a bit premature, but from my point of view, absolutely it was. But, that fight had gone on, Mark would have really knocked him out, and I didn't want to see that. I'm glad it ended when it did. And he gets upset of the year because we like, the German. They can't actually. Mark McRae's typical example, one that does try to win every fight. But the problem that we have, I suppose, is that if a guy tries to win every fight week in, week out, they pick up injuries, cuts, they can get stopped. It's a gamble for them. So I sort of prefer it when they're a bit more conservative, although they try and win, but if it's not going well, the first thought is for safety and security and get through it in one piece. Mark doesn't really subscribe to that, and I'm trying to sometimes slow him down a bit, but he's an out-and-out puncher. If I said to Mark, look, try and conserve your energy a little bit, get to the end of it, we've got another fight for you next week, I think he'd just look at me like I was mad. He goes for the win every time, so he pulled off upset of the year, and it was a real pleasure to see him go and get that, because that's a sign that his records are really for DJs. That he came in with a terrible record. He boxed a guy that's due to fight for the English title and knocked him out and stopped him. So, well done, Mark.
Yeah, well done to Mark McRae, upset of the year.
Absolutely.
Moving swiftly on to boxing personality of the year.
Okay, so this was actually unanimous as well. I was surprised because I thought it would be me. I know even I voted for the person because we'd sort of discussed it before we went to the votes, which we're not supposed to do. We're supposed to vote first and discuss it and explain our reasons afterwards. But this one was just something that came up. It's a topical, if you're a boxing fan, you're going to talk about Tyson Fury.
There you go.
And I think also, being that we're all from the boxing world and we are passionate about boxing, Tyson Fury was probably our best hope for getting a boxer as BBC's personality of the year, and it looks like they're not really gonna. Well, they're sort of, a lot of stuff's gone out that's really anti him. So there's a concerted effort to help people form a negative image of him, because I've met Tyson Fury and I've worked with his family quite a bit, and I've always found them actually to be very decent people and good people to work with. He plays, I think, the publicity game. I mean, look, you've got to ask, is that a good tactic? In terms of he's going to be he is a pay-per-view fighter. He's alienated women, gays, certain other groups. in terms of pay-per-view, maybe you want to keep everybody, just a pure business decision, you want to keep everybody backing you. But you could probably say, well, how many women and gays actually would buy pay-per-view to watch Tyson Fury normally? Maybe not that many. Now they probably will buy because they want to see him get bashed up. If they see him fighting Anthony Joshua, they're going to buy it. Yeah, I hope Joshua goes and, you know, I don't know. But in any case, right, our decision, our unanimous decision was that the Hellraiser Sports Personality of the Year, Tyson Fury.
So in the wake of the BBC Sports Personality of the Year, Tyson Fury, come and pick up your award whenever you want.
Exactly. Anytime.
This one come up now. I'm looking at this one. Ring Card Girl of the Year. Okay,
so this is a new category that was invented after probably about 5 pints of lager.
Yeah.
In the curry house. Okay, so we wouldn't normally have ring card. We've never had ring card girl of the year, and I was a bit sort of anti it when it was sort of mentioned. But this girl actually, she got in the ring and she sang like opera. It was at a show we did at the Camden Centre. I don't think it was televised, unfortunately. I think it was just filmed on a standard, like Eric Guy did it or something. But this girl gets in the ring and she said, can I? No, her friend said she sings opera music. So I went, oh right, that's nice. No, she sings really, really good opera music. She's like really like outrageously good. Okay. No, get her in the ring, So alright, we, you know, boxing, it's entertainment. We want to keep the punters happy. So we got her in the ring and she sang this song. And you think of the crowd that you got at the Camden Centre, you know, it's not probably the best crowd to have opera singing, but she gets in the ring and she sang, and the whole place just went, apart from her, went silent, and they give her a standing ovation, they're all clapping. The clip went out on the internet, it's had loads of, you know, massive, I think she's then been on X Factor and she's done really well in there. So you saw it first at the Camden Centre on a Hellraiser show.
There you go. Congratulations to the young lady.
So she was ring card, and her name is, it's a blonde girl, not bad looking at all, certainly had worse. Anna Marie.
Anna Marie.
Was the opera singer.
Congratulations, Anna Marie. The last category is televised performance of the year.
Okay, so televised performance of the year was also unanimous, and it was Elliot Matthews. He boxed Ferenc Hafner, who had dropped Eamon O'Kane in a previous fight, and Eamon then went on to fight a world title eliminator. Which unfortunately he lost, but he in fact no, he won the eliminator, and then he lost the final eliminator, and he dropped Eamon O'Kane. Elliot went in, and hardest opponent I'd say probably that Elliot's ever had, and also his best performance he's ever made. So Elliot went in, knocked him out, done the business, and subsequent to that got a British title fight, which we were all absolutely, I mean, the atmosphere in the office when that fight got pulled, we were just mortified, you know, to get that close and get cut in his last round of his last spar before he fight. And it wasn't like a nick, it wasn't like a little, you know, thing that we could have said, oh look, we might be able to get. It was just like a terrible cut. It was like that, you know, it needed plastic surgeons, stitches. I mean, he's going to be out till February, so wish Elliot a very happy new year.
Yeah, and televised performance of the year, isn't it?
He got televised because he smashed the guy. He went in the hardest fight of his career. He didn't just sort of eke his way through it. He went in there and absolutely destroyed the opponent, and just shows he's peaking at exactly the right time. Would have been a great fight. Him and Blackwell would have made for a really, really good viewing on Channel 5. It would have gone on a Hennessy show. But unfortunately, that maybe he can, if the fight does go, I mean, it's very interesting, Eubank and Blackwell, if the fight actually takes place, because they might now pull Eubank out. So, but from you've got to look at it also, why I think it's clever, because it's purse bids. People, word gets around, everyone knows what the winning purse bid was. Chris Eubank Jr. is going to be sitting there thinking, well, hang on, he's due to challenge for it as a mandatory. He's going to get 40% of the 258 grand, which is supposedly what was bid. He might be saying, well, I fancy some of that. You know, forget everything else, because his alternative, I think, he is to go and fight for the world title. He'd have to fight Danny Jacobs, where would he get that same amount? I don't know. You know what? Because of, well, it depends how the deal is cut, but he possibly would struggle to get that kind of money, and obviously without disrespecting Nick Blackwell, Danny Jacobs more established as a better fighter at a higher level. He's certainly rated higher everywhere, so you've got to say it'd be an easier fight supposedly against Blackwell. Not that it's an easy fight for anyone, but an easier fight for huge money. So maybe the boxer's going to be like trying to say, well, hang on, you know, give me a chance.
Well, we'll see what happens. That concludes the award ceremony. Thanks for the Boxing Day special. Nice jumper, by the way.
Thank you, Sean.
And just quickly, what's your highlight been of the year, the last year? What's your highlight, just to end on a...
My highlight of the year in a fight, I would say, was Darryl Williams winning the Southern Area title. Because when we started working together, I felt he's a guy that could get to there, but is not guaranteed. And when he got his opportunity, he won it. He just blitzed, you know. I mean, they were saying, the other guys, that the fight was stopped early, but I was sat in the front row, I saw Richard Horton sort of sagged into the ropes and then stumbled around a bit, and that's why the referee, you know, called it to a halt. As a promoter, you don't want to see people getting hurt on your shows. You know, you want everyone to have a great night, good fight. We will go home and we're happy. We carry on with our life, you know, happily after. So I was okay with it. I understand also when you train for a 10-round fight and get stopped in the first round, of course the guy's going to be down in the dumps about it. It's normal. It'd be strange if he wasn't. But for me, that was probably a big high point for me. And also when we went to Las Vegas with him, you know, the first day we got there, we went to Mayweather's gym. They were queuing up to spar with him. The second day, there was only one person in Mayweather's gym that would spar with him. One person in the whole gym. The next day, every single fighter in that gym had a different excuse why they don't want to spar with Darryl. And that's not me, and that's what happened. We then went to Top Rank. He sparred with Esquiva Falcao, who's contracted to Top Rank. You know, he's like one of their top prospects. He won a silver medal in the Olympic Games. And the first day was very hard for him, but working with Darryl on a daily basis and us talking it through and practicing little, you know, ways of making. And by the time we left there, he was having 50-50 spars with him. And that for me was a big high point, because when you see someone flourishing and developing like that, it's very rewarding. And so that for me was a big high point. And
two highs of the year. Looking
forward to next year. There's a lot of guys that are coming through. You know, we've got some really good fighters. Since we've had the TV thing, we're getting a much better calibre of fights. I mean, look at the guys we've got in the world ratings, and you know, lined up for national, like British titles, European titles, Commonwealth mandatory stuff like that. So,
well, exciting times ahead. Congratulations on the last year, and good luck for 2016.
Thank you for following us, guys. See you in 2016. It's going to be a big year.
Take care.
Hellraiser.